Hello everyone, welcome to our Pacman contest project. We are Team Human Learning, and we have 3 team members, Yuning Gong, Jiang Yang, and Ge Yang. Firstly, let me introduce the game. The Pacman game has 2 sides, and the Pacman agent at each side is trying to devour the food at the opponent's territory and return to their own territory in order to get scores. In fact, ultimately, whichever team has higher score wins. This poses several challenges. First, the agent needs to discover a road to reach intended destination indicated by the good policy. Secondly, the good policy should have a good generalization ability to accommodate the constantly changing map. Thirdly, there's time restriction for calculating each move. We have initially chosen 3 approaches to dictate the behavior of the agent, which is Deep Q Learning, A-star heuristic approach, and Monte Carlo tree. But since Deep Q Learning network is very complicated and is very time-consuming in respect to this specific game, so we can abandon this approach. For the Monte Carlo tree, we need to select different features and corresponding weights for different scenarios in the map. So this is quite a challenging part since we need to generalize well into different maps. Second problem is that Monte Carlo tree is very time consuming to compute each step of the agent, so we prune the max depth of the tree to 200. And for A-star heuristic search, it's challenging to design heuristic so that the goal could be reached efficiently with tactics to successfully avoid the ghost. So we designed the heuristic in following manner. First, we have non-heuristic, which returns 0, and it is corresponding to the default heuristic. We use this heuristic for the most of the time. And second heuristic is avoid ghost heuristic, which returns high value for adjacent ghosts. And we use this heuristic specifically to avoid ghosts that is in short distance to the Pacman. Different agent handles offense and defense separately, and an overall offense and defense strategy are designed for both methods to cope with the changing scenarios, as the slides show. In the offense strategy, as you can see, the Pacman actually plays very safe since most of the scenarios leads to avoid ghosts and going home. Now we are going to show you some demo of the design scenarios, as you can see on the slides. The first scenario concerns with playing safe. As you can see, the Pacman does not eat all the food at once, but deposit the food that it has already eaten by returning to its own territory, and then come out again to eat more. In this scenario, the Pacman does not go straight home because of a chasing ghost. Instead, it goes to the nearest capsule and counterattack. This is a serial behavior of a shrewd Pacman that ignores the newly scared ghost at first, and then become tactical and avoid the long scared ghost in case it escaped the scared state. You can see this is the decision tree for defense strategy, and it's primarily concerned with the ghost to find a Pacman intruder in their own territory. And there's 3 ways to do this. The first way is to chase the opponent Pacman within the sight of the defender, which is pretty straightforward. The second way is to move to the location the last food got eaten by the opponent, and there's possibly an opponent present. The last way is to chase the opponent that has been witnessed by teammates.
Now let's look at some demo of the defense. The first one is a robust defense. It actually showed how the Pacman defender cornered the intruder persistently. It's not exactly counted as a scenario, but I think it's interesting to look at.
The second one shows how a defender chased a running Pacman opponent consistently within its sight. The last scenario concerns with the defender far away from the Pacman intruder, moving to the last lost food position to chase a possible Pacman intruder that is not within his sight. Let's look at some performance results. When A-star's agent is competing with the Monte Carlo trace agent, as the left figure shows, it has a better winning chance since A-star agent has a much more comprehensively decision tree, And for a Monte Carlo trees agent, when it's competing with the baseline agent, it remains a stable performance, has a 100% winning rate. Both of these agents have problem dealing with the super staff agents, and here are some possible flaws that may cause this situation. The first one is that a star heuristic approach has the two-stick heuristic that causes the agent to be very short-sighted. The agent is actually not very sensitive to the medium range ghost, so sometimes it wind up in a dead end and get caught. This is also a problem for the Monte Carlo trees approach, but Monte Carlo trees approach also have a problem of too many coupled features that comprehensively influence the reward that is hard to be decoupled. There are also several things we can do to further optimize the agent. The first one is to set up a less steep heuristic for a star approach, so the heuristic can not only be used to avoid the ghost, but it can also enlighten the way to destination, which is a powerful function. Secondly, for intruder Pacman, some food is safe, but others are dangerous. It's better to distinguish the difference on a decision tree level. Lastly, it's beneficial to use a more flexible attacker and defender policy, since some defender Pacman is in a good position to do attack, and vice versa. Using a more flexible policy could help with this situation. This is the end of our presentation. Thank you for your attention.